Hello, and welcome to another episode of ED 6110 Intro to Research Methods in Education. Tonight we take a closer look at my research proposal entitled The Role That Engagement Plays in Assessment and the Impact Assessment Has on Engagement. I'm your host, Chris Arsenault. Over the next several minutes, I plan to take you on a path of discovery while we consider a subject most educators today have a vested interest in: student engagement. As educators, we want our students to be successful. And how do we measure that success? We use assessments to quantify their knowledge or applied skills, provide them with appropriate feedback, then hopefully allow them to reassess to demonstrate that learning has taken place. The process works very well and has been the staple of education for many years. But what happens when the student doesn't want to be part of this process? When they feel disinterested in the topics and really have no desire to be in the learning environment. We refer to this as a lack of engagement. Not only does it hinder the assessment process, it has become increasingly aware that the entire process of assessment might be contributing to this issue of engagement. The research proposal will focus on two goals: to define the linkage between engagement and assessment, and to identify and suggest processes and/or activities that can help increase both engagement and increase assessment effectiveness. Here at Holland College in the Computer Networking Technology program, we find students hard at work, sharpening their skills and gaining knowledge in their field. The IT field is very attractive to young people, but is the key to their success how engaged they are as students? In an article called Engaging Students Emotionally, the Role of Emotional Intelligence in Predicting Cognitive and Effective Engagement in Higher Education, McGuire, Egan, Hyland, and McGuire stated, student engagement is a key predictor of academic performance, persistence, and retention in higher education. In another article called Student Perceptions of Their Learning and Engagement in Response to Use of Continuous E-Assessment in the Undergraduate Module, Holmes stated that what students view as important is frequently shaped by assessment. But how do students feel about their engagement? I posed the question, do you believe that being presented with engaging curriculum along with fair and meaningful assessments have an impact on your overall engagement?
I find that the more relevant and if I can see the relevance of the information I'm being presented with in class, it gets me engaged in my learning because I'm not sitting there wondering, okay, why am I learning this? I can see it has context, I can see its use and why it's important in industry. So in that sense, it really helps with my overall engagement. And with the assessment side of things, having these assessments being meaningful and very fair, it allows me to reaffirm my knowledge and make sure that I know why I'm learning the things that I'm learning, as well as cement that what I actually know and fill in gaps of where I may not know as much as what I think I do. So having all that kind of combined together really makes things relevant and really helps understand and engage me into why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and for what reasons that they're being applied.
I posed a question of how important is it to your engagement levels? Is it to you to understand the relevance of the subject matter to your current studies?
The reason why I chose this course is because I was aware that Holland College queries the industry, adds their 2 cents worth, and puts a program together for us to purchase, and that increases my engagement, knowing that this is going to be a good base knowledge to work in the industry.
So this begs the question, what can we do to help a student reach a higher level of engagement? I would propose a mixed method research approach, and more precisely a convergent parallel design. The qualitative side of this approach would focus on the students' views, experiences, and inner thoughts and feelings towards their views of being an engaged or disengaged student. What is their definition of engaging, and how they view the relevance of the topics and the subjects that are being presented to them. Also, their opinions on how they can contribute to their own assessments and engagement. The quantitative side of this mixed method approach would focus on tangible results, such as assessment scores, quality of submitted assignments, and even tracking attrition rates when introducing new techniques for engagement and comparing them to pass rates. Based on both results, I would then compare and relate the results from both sides to interpret how data from one type of approach helps to explain the data collected for the other type of approach. I would hypothesize that I would start to see statistics form to corroborate my views and experiences and the results obtained from the research. And what could potentially come from this research? A main goal would be to obtain data that would help educators create some best practice guidelines on how to help a student become and remain engaged. To proceed with the research, I would first define a timeline that the research project would occur. In my own classroom environment, I would see the data being collected over a 2-year span. Choosing a single course from the first semester, let's call this course A, would be delivered as normal. Rubrics would be designed to record the test group's normal performance, as well as polls and questionnaires to record their views of engagement with the material. A single course from the second semester, we'll call this course B, would be chosen, and new strategies of engagement focusing on assessments would be implemented to try to help the students reach maximum engagement levels. The rubrics would be applied and the polls and questionnaires administered to record the data. Now, into the second year, the first semester course A that was given to the previous test group would become the focus of engagement techniques, and the second semester course B that was previously focused on engagement would provide a more traditional delivery methodology. This pathway allows for 2 test groups to take 2 identical courses, but simply delivered differently to obtain data. The polls and questionnaires would focus on what the students believed were the contributing factors to the increased engagement and, well, hopefully, better performances. I truly believe that instructors armed with this knowledge can work closely with students to help them become more engaged and thus become more successful. So what do you think of this episode? Be sure to let us know your thoughts on Twitter and email. I'm your host, Chris Arsenault, signing out. Good night.